Good morning. Today on Spotlight, my one-on-one conversation with the popular mayor of Warren, Jim Fouts. In a couple weeks, he'll be delivering his annual State of the City address. What will he talk about? Economic development, public safety, neighborhoods? Yes, I'm sure he'll do all of that. But will he also include comments about recent controversies involving his City Hall ethics and behavior? Mayor Jim Fouts, coming up next. He's certainly no stranger to this program. He's been here many times before, and he's our guest today on Spotlight, Warren Mayor Jim Fouts. Mr. Mayor, welcome back to the show.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here again.
You are coming up on your annual State of the City address on March the 26th, which is a Wednesday out there in Warren. Give us a preview. What are you going to talk about?
Well, I think the preview is going to be, I'm going to say the state of the city is excellent. We're doing great. I think we have a lot to be proud of. We have one of the strongest fund balances in the state, which is 45%, $45 million and growing. We have police sweeps, we have blight sweeps, we have home property values are starting to go up now, and we have a great economic development going on, particularly between 12 and 14 Mile Road. We have a super Walmart's with the grand opening was just yesterday. We have a Menards going on.
And you fought with them for quite a little while there, but you're happy now. Walmart's happy. You've come to.
I'm happy. We've got a super Walmart. I've been told it's the best Walmarts in the state, and unless somebody can demonstrate different, I'm going to agree with that. But I went to the facilities a couple of days ago, and I'm very impressed with what it looks like.
All right.
And we have a new developer called Tom Petzold, who's going to develop the 12 Van Dyke Shopping Center and put in some upscale developments there. So we have a lot of good things going on in Warren.
Every chief executive of a city, whether it's a small or medium or large city, I'm sure that at the beginning of every year they sort of sit down and get their ledger out and say, I want to get this, and this done. And sometimes it's a long list, sometimes it's a short list. Let's look at the real short list. If you said my absolute priority for this year would be what?
My absolute priority for this year would be what my goal has been since I got elected, and that is a safer and cleaner city. And we've been able to accomplish that. So police, fire, blight, those are important, and also strong financial stability in the city. And as I said, name me another city that has a 45% fund balance, that has approaching $50 million in a fund balance, in a rainy day fund. We've done it all. We've cut overtime by $2 million in our general fund, maybe almost $1 million in our water fund. We're doing everything right, and we're taking care of people's concerns, especially when it becomes such mundane issues as potholes. We're taking care of that.
Potholes has been something that you've talked about. It's certainly something that everybody who gets behind the wheel of a car talks about. Your position, you sort of bumped heads a little bit with the county exec, Mr. Hackle, on this issue. How do you believe we should improve this?
Well,
I believe
and I have a great deal of respect for the county executive, and who knows, one day he may become governor of the state. But I disagree with telling people to call 911 if you have a pothole problem. That should be and must be reserved for police issues and not potholes, although I understand what he was trying to do.
But you feel that was a misstep from Mr. Hackle?
I would disagree with that.
Okay.
I believe that what I did was the proper thing, and I established a pothole hotline for Warren residents and anybody driving through the city. And since I've established that, we've literally had hundreds and hundreds of calls.
So what happens when they call the hotline?
When they call the hotline, it goes right into my office, and then I contact the DPW, and then the DPW goes to the particular area, and they take care of the potholes. And just since we've started that, we've already taken care of almost 26,000 potholes. So when we get the call, we take care of it. Now, there is a problem. We get calls about 12 Mile Road and Mound and Shaner, and those are county roads, and those have to be taken care of by the county. But we're doing our part.
Do you feel the county is doing a good job taking care of their roads?
Well, I contacted County Executive Hackle, and I said, Mark, I said, I'd like to make you a deal. Obviously, the county is overwhelmed. They can't do what they'd like to do. I said, Warren will take care of the potholes on 12 Mile Road, which is a county road, as long as you will reimburse us. Now, he disagreed with me and said they would handle it. the offer is still open for him. I think county government and city government need to work together in a collaborative and cooperative basis, and I think if Warren is willing to take care of county roads such as 12 Mile Road and take care of the potholes, which we've demonstrated we can, then we need to be reimbursed for that.
What is his fear, that the money's not in his budget to deal with that?
He didn't specify, but he said that he would handle it himself. Now, it's still open to him, and maybe he'll change his mind. I hope he does. He's a wonderful person and a future governor maybe, but I think this is an important issue that he needs to work with the city of Warren on.
Very quickly, because there's so many issues I want to talk to you about before we go to that first break. A lot of people who have been watching this pothole problems in our roads for years in the auto capital of the world feel as though this has become a cottage industry, and that every year they see the same orange barrels going up, and that we really are not using the best materials and the best procedure to have good roads so that we aren't constantly repairing them. Do you agree with that, or is it just harsh winters and there's nothing we can do?
Let me add, I agree with that, but I'd add something else. And I was at an economic meeting at the Ukrainian Center for Macomb officials, and I met with one resident who seems to be knowledgeable, and he said, you know, Mayor Feltz, what we need to do is stress something about tonnage. He said the state of Michigan allows a lot of trucks to go on our road that are over the limit, and they get an approval
that
or
has
something.
been criticisms in
and
the past.
I think we have to have a strong statement that this is the limit about how much tonnage can drive on our roads, because these heavy-duty trucks that are overweight are destroying our roads, and it's not fair for the taxpayers to have to pick up the tab.
Could it be
for the
a
damage
combination
done
of
by
both? Because the trucking industry will tell you that they are not solely responsible
I would
for all of that.
I would agree it's a combination of both, but obviously when we take out bids, it should be the most qualified bidder rather than just the lowest bidder. But it also has to be tonnage. These trucks have to be told this is the maximum amount of weight you can carry because you're destroying our roads, and our taxpayers shouldn't have to pick up the tab for the trucking industry or for other people as far as that goes.
All right, I have to go pay a few bills. We'll hurry right back with more questions for Warren Mayor Jim Feltz. We hope you stay with us. He is the chief executive of the third largest city in the state of Michigan, Mayor Jim Feltz of Warren, our guest. You have a street improvement program that you're talking about, that you will be talking about in your State of the City address, but that's going to be a real big push for you this year, correct?
Well, it's been a push. I got the voters to approve a millage for our road improvement several years ago, and I think we're now in our third year, and we're spending roughly $7 million a year on road improvement. We're doing both neighborhood roads as well as major roads, and we've made major inroads and taking care of our neighborhood roads, which frankly, this is the first development in over a half a century in Warren.
Has the Snyder administration been helpful to you in getting this done? Are you pleased with?
Well, I'm pleased with the fact that they proposed to the state legislature recently that I think they're going to allocate $500,000 to help us with repair dealing with potholes, and that's appreciative. But as far as Warren is concerned, I went to the voters 3 years in a row on separate millages, and we've got the approval for a major road millage, a major library millage, and a major police and fire millage. So the voters of Warren have been very good at supporting solid programs designed to improve the bottom line in our city. And for the first time in like I say, a half a century, we're putting in new roads. We're paving neighborhood residential streets that have not been done in a half a century.
Let's talk economic development, big picture. Downtown Warren, I know that you've been in talks with Greg Jackson, who's a very prominent automobile dealer in this area. What are those plans?
Well, right now the plans are potentially very exciting. As I said earlier, we have the new super Walmarts going up in the city. That was the grand opening was just this week. We're going to have a new 12-mile Van Dyke shopping center going up with some high-quality developments going up there. Greg Jackson, we just signed a deal with him. We haven't made the announcement yet. He'll be putting in a very prestigious, high-quality auto dealership just north of our downtown area, and a little farther down, General Motors is
He has Prestige Motors there?
You're right.
All right.
And I haven't really
as well
made
as
that
several other dealerships.
Yeah. And farther down, General Motors is putting in a $130 million data center, and so they're developing and building and doing that. And then farther down,
so relations right now with General Motors are good?
The relationship with General Motors is fantastic. They are investing roughly $500 million in new development in our city, $130 million at the tech center. The powertrain is the bulk of it. We have Menards going in, which is another $10 to $20 million investment, and that's going to be a high-quality investment as well. And I have a proposal before the Downtown Development Authority, and I'm hoping to get help from people such as Greg Jackson and General Motors and a number of people to build a pedestrian bridge that would connect General Motors.
This would be a skywalk bridge?
Skywalk bridge, which would connect
sort of like
General
in Troy,
Troy,
with
like
the mall
Somerset, to our downtown area. And we are now, we have met with one developer, and hopefully within 6 months, you never know for sure, but we hope to be finally develop the downtown area and put in some very high quality, exciting development in that area. So between 12 and 14 Mile Road on Van Dyke, there is a lot of economic development going in Warren.
Your relationship with the city of Detroit, you share a border with them. I know in the past administration, Mayor Bing's administration, you reached out to him, according to you, many times, and I don't think you ever received the response that you wanted. Have you had any type of conversations with Mayor Duggan thus far? And I know he's been very busy.
I did have a conversation with Mayor Duggan shortly after he got elected, maybe a few weeks later, and I indicated I'd like to work with him, and he was positive toward that. I think first and foremost, what we must begin with the city of Detroit is fighting crime. And one way to fight crime is to have some collaborative cooperation between the Detroit Police Department and the Warren Police Department regarding heroin. And as I indicated to you earlier,
that's become a big problem.
That is a major problem in the city of Warren and the metro area. In the last year, arrests have gone up 69%. Buys have gone up anywhere from 14 to 30%, and ODs have gone up 10%. Why is a combination of things. Number one, Warren is becoming the gateway for people from northern Macomb County and northern Oakland County to come to Warren to somehow do their deals between Warren and Detroit. Detroit is the supply area. Between Mound Road and probably Hayes, there are a number of drug houses, and those drug houses then supply people who then end up doing some sort of deal in Warren. So Warren, they come from north. By the way, interesting to note that 75% of our arrests are from people that live outside the city of Warren, and most of them are from northern Macomb County, and some are from northern Oakland County. And the most distressing thing is that an increasing amount of people that we catch with heroin, or they're shooting up heroin at a red light or in some parking place in Warren, they tend to be young people. So the greatest rise is among those, say, 18 to 29.
So bottom line is you feel as though there should be a stronger relationship in terms of public safety between city of Warren and the city of Detroit. And you're very open to it, and you're extending an olive branch to Mayor Duggan.
We need to shut down the drug houses in Detroit, and we need to better and more effectively communicate with parents that there's a number of younger people that are getting involved in heroin. Unfortunately, some of these young women end up getting into prostitution.
Can't stick our head in the sand.
And it's a very, very serious problem.
All right, Mr. Mayor,
we do need to focus on it and work in a cooperative manner with Detroit Police and Warren Police on this.
Okay, don't mean to be rude.
Okay, sure.
Got to get a commercial break in, so for all your constituents out there, I'm not just cutting you off just to be mean.
Thank you.
We will be right back, and we'll talk about, this is a big political year, so I want to talk about some of the big races coming up. We'll be right back with Warren Mayor Jim Fouts. Stay with us. And welcome back to Spotlight. Mr. Mayor, this is a big political election year, governor's race, a Senate race on down the line. And in about a year, you'll have to run again. A lot of controversy lately involving you out there in Warren. Stories have been done on this station and other places accusing you of violating ethics and potentially opening up the city to sexual harassment lawsuits. You have city treasurer has said that you need anger management, that you lunged across the desk at her in a heated discussion. This is not the Jim Fouts that we're used to. Are you losing control out there, or is this just...
No, I'm not. Those are just distractions, and they'll continue probably through the election. The bottom line is that I'm a reform mayor. I've made a lot of reforms. I've changed the whole tenor of how the city works. For example, when we have snow crisis or flooding or anything, I go home at night and I'm on the phone for several hours returning the calls of residents and making sure that they get service and they get taken care of, especially when it comes to potholes. So I think I'm a hands-on mayor. I think I'm doing a lot for residents, and I think people are happy with the fact that this is a safer, it's a cleaner city, and we have a strong fund balance. But I have a group of people who are unhappy with me. They're mostly from the previous administration, and they're
Steinberg administration?
Well, they worked, I believe they worked for him. Some of them did. One of them, I think, was a candidate in a number of things.
So you believe these are your political enemies?
These are people that are trying to create distractions from the focus ahead. And the focus ahead...
Why would they do that?
Well, because they want to get back control of city government. They want to bring back the way things were in the past. And the fact of the matter is, I am a reform mayor, and we have a good administration, and we're here to serve the public, not ourselves.
Okay. Very direct question. If you could just answer this for all the people out there. As it relates to your executive assistant, is there a personal relationship there that would violate any type of ethics rules in the city of Warren? They say that she got a pay raise because you had a relationship with her.
No, that's wrong. Okay. That's wrong. All right, let me clear that. I had 3 secretaries in my office that got a temporary raise because Nancy Burgess,
the economic development director, and they were filling in.
Bonnie McInerney, one of the people in my office, got a $15,000 temporary raise. The executive assistant got a $5,000 temporary raise, and another secretary got a $2,000. And I might add, my secretary that you've raised questions about is making $45,000 a year. She is the lowest paid of all the executive secretaries in the city. Most of them make between $60,000 to $80,000 a year. She has a bachelor's degree, she has a master's degree, and she has a year and a half of law, as well as having 10 years experience in the city. So my opponents, these people who hide behind false names, want to throw rocks and make unnecessary aspersions without any adequate statement. And if they...
And the only question, here, Mr. Mayor, is you're a single man.
Hold on.
I don't think people care about any personal relationship you have, who you decide to date, who not to date, as long as it's not violating any type of city hall ethics and someone is not getting preferential treatment. You're saying that that's not happening.
That's not happening. Okay. And not only that, this person that works for me, myself, and all my other department heads work first and foremost for the taxpayers. And by the way, neither my executive assistant nor myself work. We don't take comp time. We don't take overtime. I gave up my city car. I worked through my lunchtime. And so I think everybody that works for me puts in more than a 40-hour week.
All right. And very clearly on the city treasurer, she says you need anger management classes. Is what she's saying true? Do you need anger management? Or
no, but I would remind the treasurer, and Channel 7 even did a story many years ago about some things that she said in the Warren Police Department and anger that she got up. I think the bottom line is she's a passionate person. I'm a passionate person. And when I believe strongly about something, I get passionate. And when she does, she gets passionate too. The only thing I'll add to that is that she waited a week after we had the meeting, almost a week, to send a letter out. The letter I don't think she wrote herself. And in addition to that...
Do you view her as a political enemy of yours?
Well, let me finish. She sent copies of the letter to all the news media before my human resources director received it. So what it appears to me, it's very suspicious of the timing of the letter and the fact that the news media received it before my human resources director did. But the bottom line is she's a passionate person. I'm a passionate person, and in the heat of the moment, we do have disagreements. But she was even quoted in the Macomb Daily, which is not a big supporter of mine. She said the mayor calmly apologized. She apologized to me, and he said he would support me. So that's how our meeting ended. So if the meeting ended calm and positive, then I don't think there was any threat there.
All right, Mr. Mayor, I need a yes or no on this. Governor's race, who will you support? Will you support the Democrat Mark Schauer or the Republican Rick Snyder?
I haven't decided yet. I think Mark Schauer has shown some good questioning that I've noticed in television, but I think I've met with Governor Snyder, and he's done some things to turn the state around. So
they
right
still,
now,
both of them have to work for your support.
They
and your
both
vote.
have to work for my support.
All right, and the Senate race, have you decided on a favorite there?
No, I haven't. I wish Carl Levin were running again, because I thought
he
was.
Not.
Well, we need Carl Levin. I even sent a letter, and I talked to Sandy Carl.
But it looks like the
done
choice
an
is going
job.
to be Gary Peters and Terry Lynn Land. You have a favorite between the two?
No, I do not.
They still have to work for your support.
Right now, who I want to work for is the taxpayers of Warren, and I represent both Democrats and Republicans. That's why I got 81%, and that's why these opponents, these people that want to distract, continue to go after me, because they're unhappy that I got a good vote and I have the support of the people, and they want to create all these distractions that you ended up speaking about, which have nothing to do with the way I run my job.
Mr. Mayor, thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
And apologize for trying to cut you off a couple times, but time is our worst enemy, unfortunately. But hopefully you feel as though you've had a fair hearing here.
Okay,
it's always a pleasure having you come in.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you so much. And we'll be back in just a moment. Don't go away. And we leave you with a brief community reminder. On Monday, March the 17th, the renowned Morehouse College Glee Club will come to town to perform a fundraiser at Detroit's Greater New Mount Moriah Missionary Baptist Church at 7:00 p.m. For tickets and more information, go online to eventbrite.com. Thanks for joining us today on Spotlight. I'm Chuck Stokes. We'll be back next week with more newsmakers in the Spotlight. We hope you have a great week.